everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. Welcome. Thank y'all for tuning in to the first edition of Choir Chat. Y'all pray for me, stepping out on a limb with this one. But the purpose of the show is to highlight choir directors. Like I was saying in a post that I posted earlier, you hear the choir, you see the choir, but you don't hear from the person that's in front, like the front person, the director. You don't hear from them. So this show is designed to specifically talk to the leaders of these great choirs. And there's so many amazing choirs out there. All right, before I get into it, what I need you to do, I need you to like, I need you to share, I need you to comment. I need you to like, share, and comment. So before I get started, somebody let me know, can you hear everything? Can you see everything? I do apologize for the foolishness. Well, that's in the background. There's where my studio is. There are other studios in here, and there's a lot of going on in the background. But hopefully you can hear me clear. I see Andrea from OP is in the building. Thank you so much. I just want to know if everything is clear. Can you see everything? Can you hear everything? Marcel is here. He's ready. I'm going to transition over to him in 1 second. But like I said, please, ma'am, please, sir, I need you to subscribe to the YouTube page, www.zach. There we go. All right. Without further ado, my brother's here. Can y'all put your hands together for the genius, I call him, the gospel Beethoven. Marcel Wyche, give him some love, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Brother.
How are you, man?
Brother, welcome to Choir Chat. Thank you so much. I'm sorry about the rockers that y'all hear in the background. Hopefully they'll be finishing up soon. But the mics that I have, they pick up everything. So we're going to jump right into it. Can y'all give an applause for Corneilus Wyche? That's my brother, Marcel. Give him some love, y'all. Let's see the hearts. Let's get the hearts going. Brother, welcome. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
There is a delay for whatever reason. I'm not sure, but we're going to keep on going. So let's dig into it. Marcel Wyche. I'm going to go on record and say that Marcel is different than a lot of choir directors. His writing style is definitely different, and it is unique. I met Marcel some years ago here in Philadelphia. Pastor Edward Buster Fields did a yearly event here leading up to Easter. It was called He's Alive at the Ambassador Seat of Love Church. And he said, "Big bro, I need you to come to this rehearsal because I'm doing this workshop and this concert." I was like, "Oh, okay." He said, I got my boy from Virginia at that time. He is over the choir." I said, "Okay, whatever you want me to do, I'll come through." And I came and I was introduced to who I call the gospel Beethoven, because that's just how he is. Marcel, how did this start for you in music? Let's go there. Now I don't have a script. I don't have nothing written down. I'm just going for it. So how did this start with you, Marcel Wyche? How did this start?
Well, it's family based. Everybody in my family plays or sings or does something musical. It stems from my grandfather. So it's in my bones. Believe it or not, as much of a choir head as I am, I'm actually a quartet baby. People
Shut
don't know
your
that.
mouth. Are you serious?
A lot of people don't know that my first love was quartet.
The royal blue suits and all of that. The
All
Jerry
of
curls.
Sing, Robert. Yeah.
I
Oh,
cannot
yeah.
see you doing it, but go ahead, go ahead.
But so believe it or not, though, music was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a truck driver. I didn't want to do music. But mom wanted me to do music, and I was always, of course, interested in it because it sounds good. It's a part of what I grew up in, but it wasn't something that I wanted to pursue. But off the strength of mom and the influence of growing up in the '90s, my two favorite influences, it kind of pulled me that way, and that's where it started. And I had some local influences too, but it just kind of picked up from there. I was like, you know what, I think I might want to do this myself. You know.
Wow. So you talked about your. Well, let me pause. You're also a musician, and that gets lost in the process with you being in front of the choir all the time. People forget that you are a musician. How was the musician born?
My dad plays. He's minister of music of several churches. My dad showed me 3 chords. My mom anointed my hands. I'm not making any of this up. I'm sure some of my family is on here. My mom anointed my hands. My dad showed me 3 chords. He said he would not show me any more chords. He showed me those 3, and I had to figure the rest out. And ironically, I had to figure it out at a time. Like I said, my influences at the time were Dr. Ricky Dillard and Professor James Hall. By the time that I got interested enough to want to start playing, so that's what I started. My teaching tactics with that on top of band in high school, beginning to learn how to read, music. So it all kind of tied in that way.
Wow. So did you go to school for music?
No, I did not.
Wow. Self-taught.
I went to school for psychology, but
I can believe that
self-taught.
too. So you were self-taught. Did you later go to school for music?
No, I did not later go to school for music. I went to school as sometimes a instructor, sometimes as a liaison, sometimes to assist, sometimes, but in those capacities. But believe it or not, a lot of people don't know it, but I have not taken out 1 school credit for music.
That's absolutely amazing. That's a blessing from God. So how your ear is impeccable. You have perfect pitch. I know that. I've been in rehearsal with you before, so I've watched you. How were you able to manage to learn classical music? Because I've heard you play a keyboard. I've heard you play the organ, but I've also heard you play the keyboard. And there is some classical background in your playing. How did that happen?
2 names, John Peters and Richard Smallwood.
Good Jesus. Wow.
The 90s birthed a parameter of musicians who just, even if that's not what you're into, it mind boggled you to hear their craft.
I agree.
It was just something different. And my world flipped upside down musically when Great Is Our God came out, which is still to this day my favorite James Hall song.
Yeah.
When that came out, and which was, I think, track 3, I think the intro is track 1, then it's He Reigns, then track 3 on the According to Chapter 3 album. But my dad my dad would make me practice He Reigns until I got it. Now it was too complicated for him to play, but my dad's ears like mine, so he wouldn't let me give up, So I just kind of frustrated myself into learning certain things, So it was the timing, I guess, but the '90s was just the era for it.
Right. So I guess before we get into the whole choir thing, as a musician, I guess were you out there like playing for community choirs? I know you were playing at your church. I know you were faithful doing that. But how was the experience playing for community choirs once you realized that, hey, I can play a little bit? This is something that I want to do. How did you navigate that?
So there was a choir that I helped start when I was 13, I think. The Combined Voices of Zion in my local community, Waverly, Virginia. And I started out as just a singer, and then assistant directing, and then playing. My cousin, who was the musician at the time, Tony Green, I sat under him, and I became one of the musicians there. And so it's not that structured, but the layout of service is structured. So to go and be in a place where it's all singing, and I can kind of have the freedom to try to pluck a little, which is what I was doing at the time, and learn more about the craft without it being so, okay, you need to get off. You don't know what you're doing just yet because it's messing up the flow survey. You ain't quite ready just yet, So I could kind of hide under the other musicians because, it was like back then when a band came, they came 8, 9, 10 piece. So I kind of hid up under them and just kind of learned along the way. And that experience, that fellowship, the whole community choir aspect of it just kind of, it ignited a fire of wanting to do it.
So I'm gonna keep pausing because I'm muting my mic.
Okay.
Because of the background. So let's fast forward. So so you're playing for this community choir. At what point did you decide that I want to have my own choir?
When I would say, of one name, you probably don't know the other. When Sam Lewis Mission Community Choir had their anniversary in Petersburg, Virginia, and his special guest was Peggy Britt and the Philharmonics. And you know where I'm going with this. And when Dr. Peggy Britt fell up in there with all them Philharmonics and started screaming in Trinity Church, I said, I gotta do this. That was the moment. I'm about to tell on myself that my mom, she sold Avon. That was the moment that when I went home, the deodorant was the Sopranos, the perfume was the Alto, and them big tall talcum powder or the big Avon lotion, those were the tenants. I would sit them on top of that, the old school entertainment center with the TV inside. I would put a sheet around my clothes like I was Ricky Dillard. And I'm serious, man. Believe, I know I'm telling on myself, but seriously.
It's all right.
And that particular concert, it had came right off the heels of about 2 weeks before that. I had just seen Wilmington Chester when they came on stage, and we had to keep clapping because there was so many of them. So it was just, I said, oh, I want to do this. And that's when I said, that's when I decided, this is nice. Yeah. And I had some school friends, my school had just re-implemented the band program because they had went so many years without it. So it all just kind of tied in together. That season all tied in together. It was like perfect.
Wow, that is amazing. So the Philharmonics. So did you play for them, or were you a member, or was it both?
honored to say that I have sung tenor with the Philharmonics. In the ending the rebirth years, I was a tenor. So, but I've been a fan forever, and I've known most of them 20 years or more.
Okay.
So yeah, and Dr. Britt, she sung on my first album.
I remember.
Uh,
I played
yeah,
it.
so yeah, so it's yeah that concert sealed the deal that I could have my own set of singers.
So, would you say that Dr. Britt and the Philharmonics was your genesis in professional gospel music sector?
I would say between her and Mission Community Choir, yes, back in that time, that's exactly what it was. As it was just mind-boggling to see. My dad has this expression where some talent is before their time, like Earth, Wind, and Fire. And it's like to see what was being done. It was just like, in my opinion, far beyond what was being done under normal reach. So it just kind of, and I've always been attracted to anything abnormal. So that just played a part into it. Yeah, so that was my genesis. I would say that.
So, when did Octave Praise officially begin and how?
Oh Lord. I remember when you asked me, was anything off limits? Okay, well, I just thought about that. I guess I'll go ahead. So at the time, Octave Praise was birthed September 28, 2002, with myself, and the co-founder at the time was my ex-fiance. And her and we birthed Octave Praise together. On that date, Octave Praise was an idea birth on the campus of Virginia State University. So the original and founding members of Octave Praise are all from Virginia State. Um, but of course, at the time, being in the union that I was in, that was something her and I prayed about and actually birthed it. And I continued with it in this endeavor. So yeah, that's how it started. Friends from Virginia State.
Wow. So, how many people are still there that was there then? Do you have anyone that's still with you that was at the beginning?
Marvel is a founding member.
Okay.
He's still there. Um, he's probably the only one that's still there now.
Okay.
But before that, Maurice, I know you remember Maurice.
Yeah.
Maurice, he was a founding member. I still remember everybody that was at the first meeting.
Wow.
But that's still there now. The only Terrence.
I was about to say, Super Tenor had to be there.
Yeah, Terrence.
And let me tell y'all something. Terry is super tenor. My boss says that voices are genetically modified. That would be Terry. I mean, that. Yeah. So he was in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Terrence.
Terrence.
Terrence. Yeah, he was in the beginning. He's been with me 25 years, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah, my very first choir, the Heavenly Voices. Yeah.
Oh, so Octave Praise wasn't the first.
My first choir was the Heavenly Voices from 95 to 98. Then I had Revelation of Praise Ensemble from 98 to 2001. And I've had Octave Praise since 2002.
Wow. So what made you transition from the Heavenly Voices to Octave Praise? Was there like a event that made you want to upgrade and change, or how did that work? How did that come about?
So, so the Heavenly Voices was during that time friends, and it was the new thing to do. I'm from the country. We didn't have many other things to do. We just want to get out the house, so we decided to go sing and have a little rehearsal here and there, and then it got to the point, where people started asking us to sing at churches. It got exciting. At that time, Professor Craig Hayes had just dropped an album with UV, so walking up the King's Highway was the thing to do. So that so it became the fun thing to do in school. Then people start graduating, going their own way, life change. Um, I That's when I started Revelation of Praise Ensemble, and they were bad. They were bad, and no cap. But then again, things change. You realize if this what you want to do, is it not what you want to do, and stuff like that. Then I came. Then of course, then we got into Octave Praise, which has sustained in the foundation of things.
Wow. This is good because people are learning more about you. Because like
Mhm.
most people that don't know you, they only know you from standing in front of the choir, waving your hands, directing the choir. They don't know
Correct.
what it took to get to this point, which is the sole purpose of this show. So you're giving us a whole lot. Now, so you had two choirs before Octave Praise. Okay.
Hmm.
When did the writing start?
Uh, I wrote my first song January 22nd, 1995. It was called Blessed Are the Meek, because at the time my favorite scripture was Matthew, the fifth chapter, and all of the Beatitudes. So, Blessed Are the Meek, for they shall inherit the earth. That was my first song that I ever wrote. It's the longest song. You would think it was a hymn. It has so many verses. Um, we sung it maybe twice. That was the end of it. Um, then I wrote a song called Thank You. That was the second song I ever wrote.
Okay.
And then I was just trying just to see if I had a niche for it. Then I put it down. And I think what happened was, for Christmas, I got back when Circuit City was open. I got a
Yes, Circuit
Yamaha
City.
a Yamaha PS. I think it was the PSR 510 or something like that,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
it gave you the ability to create beats and create, you know, tracks. So now I'm learning how to do that. So while I'm creating tracks, I'm putting words to it, but it's not really coming together. Things didn't start making sense until life started happening. I wrote a couple of mediocre little songs that I would probably never ever record. But as life started happening, the writing started changing because it was experimental, I'll say. And I tell people all the time, it's I the irony is I just crossed this week 500 songs written, and 90 to 95% of the songs that I've written were written from a place of discouragement or discord or something that happened, something that, instead of me lashing out in a way that wouldn't be befitting to my character, I would just go right. And sometimes there have been blessings that have happened, and I've written a song off of that. They just kind of come as the years. They just they just come, But yeah, that's it. It started as something to do, but again, experience teach you how to do things better.
Wow. What's impressive is that you remember the exact date of the first song that you wrote. I don't remember the first song that I wrote. I don't remember the date of the first song that I wrote. You probably remember where you were when you wrote it.
I sure do. I was
I
on my
see
parents' porch
that.
on the back. I was on the back porch. Daddy was chopping wood, and he was mad because he out there with the axe, and I was inside trying to write a song. I'll never forget it.
Wow. So you have written a total of 500 compositions, 500 songs,
Yes, sir.
and I know you've recorded
Yes, sir.
some of them. Can you give like a brief discography of some of the people that you've written for?
Uh, I've written for the B&B Mass Choir, where I was the minister of music of that church. So the a lot of people don't know this. My first project was in the year 2000 that I produced, and I wrote all the songs on that album. That came out in 2000. My voice of reasoning was the Luther Barnes, um, who I had wrote for on another project with the Bethany project. He was the producer of that project. I wrote two songs on that, Praise the Lord and Never Alone. Um, Fast forward a little, on the West Coast, I've written for the Mount Olive Original Holy Church of God Pentecostal Convention Choir, where I think I've written seven songs on their album. Um, for my sister Naja Scott, um, I've written on her album Bill of Sale. There's another song I wrote for her. That if she don't hear from record, I'm gonna take it back. But I think most notable, my founder, the ultimate choir master of us all, the Dr. Ricky Dillard. I've had the pleasure of writing for him, All the Glory, led by our First Lady of Gospel, Karen Clark Sheard. And I think that's one of my most amazing accomplishments thus far.
Tell me something. You may not be
Yes,
able to
sir.
see this, but I'm going to put this up on the screen so everybody can see this.
Okay.
How did that happen? At the very beginning,
Man,
at the very beginning, you said that two of your greatest influences, one was Dr. Ricky Dillard. How did you become to be a member of New G? Now I remember how it happened. I remember when you told me it was going to happen because you were still like in shock. But I want to know,
mhm.
how did you go from being a like a fan, an admirer, to
Mhm.
being a son, a member, a tenor, a writer on the project? How did that happen?
Outside of the divine favor of God, I would have to say, um, being being sincere, having pure intentions, and supporting foremost as a fan. Um, I auditioned for New G. I'm probably one of very few people in the world that can tell you every song on every album, um, who led it, what record label they were under, what key it's in, you know, whether it's The Promise. Let me see if I can go all the way up the road. First album was The Promise, then it was Holy Ghost Takeover, then it was Hallelujah, then it was Work It Out, then it was No Limit, then it was Unplugged, then it was seventh episode, then it's Keep Living, then it was Amazing, then it was 10, then it was Choir Master, and now it's the new one, Exodus. And that's all the albums in a row. I'm a real fan.
Yes, yes, you are. Ricky Dillon and New
So
G to Ricky Dillon and New G to you is what Wilmington Chester was to me.
mm-hmm.
I can identify. I
Yeah, man.
idolized Ernie Davis in that choir. Even after he passed away, I still held him on a high level, and I still idolized that choir. Wow. But go ahead. I want to know.
But so I auditioned. Believe it or not, my audition song was the Covenant medley. So I did the entire tenor line to the Covenant medley from the Promise on over to Like a Ship Without a Sail. All of it, through it all. That was my audition song. I was a little nervous because I'm like, when you get to through it all, that's old New G. They ball, they holler. But what amazed me, Zach, was after I got my email and did all, it was a process, and I'm amazed at the experience. But what amazed me was when I showed up to the first rehearsal, he knew my name. When I walked through the door, he said, "Brother Marcel, I enjoyed your presentation, your audition." That let me know he saw it. It wasn't just a committee of folk. And he knew my name. I was frozen. But from that point on, I knew that this is somebody not only who pays attention, but to pay attention to. Because there's so much wisdom to learn from Dr. Dillon. Even in his silent movement, it's so
Right.
much to learn. But yeah,
So
that's how it happened.
you picked that song in the audition? Did you pick that?
The Covenant medley?
Yes.
Yep, I picked it.
I figured that. You would pick like a difficult
Yeah. I wanted to pick something that I just knew for a fact they wouldn't expect anybody to submit.
Wow. And what year was that? How long ago was that?
Ooh, that was what, 15 maybe, 16? 15 or 16, I think. I want to say 15.
15? Okay.
So I think I've been with New G 7 years, I
Okay.
think.
So let's fast forward to All the Glory.
Hmm.
So you submitted the song just like everybody else. How did you feel when first your song was selected to go on the record?
When I found out that the song was going on the record, honestly, I didn't get excited. I wasn't like, oh my God. And I'm just gonna I'm gonna have a real moment. Um, I felt like some type of way it's gonna be sabotaged and it's not gonna get recorded. Or some type of way something's gonna happen where it's gonna be booted. For a lot of people who don't know, I was one of the candidates for Sunday's Best years ago. I still have the email. They congratulated back when Donnie McCurk and Kimberly and Yolanda Adams were the judges. And then I got the email saying they had too many people and they had to let some other folk, and things of that nature. But I said all that to say, um, now I forgot what I was saying, Zach.
about Talk about how you felt when you found out the
Yeah.
song was.
So I always, in the beginning, I felt like, okay, some type of way, whether it be too many songs or it might not be the right vibe, something. So I wasn't, I think the reason why I boohooed the way I did later on was because I wasn't convinced it was going to actually be recorded until that moment. Because I just was convinced that something was going to sabotage it. It's like favor don't happen to me like this. So so let me not get excited.
I understand. That's been me. I've been there
Uh,
before. So
so that's how.
I saw the video when you found out that Karen Clark was going to lead the song. So, were you in a
Mhm.
rehearsal? Can
We
you set
were
that up? What
at
did that look like?
sound. So picture it, Sicily. So we were at sound check for album 10 at Ebenezer, and I knew that people knew who was leading my song, but wouldn't nobody tell me. Um, but I knew it had to be somebody because as we started going through the repertoire, people started looking at me like they were ready to get a reaction or something. Like some people knew, they just wouldn't tell me. So anyway, I happened to look down because we were up. I happened to look down and I saw that somebody was coming on stage. I saw, a head full of hair, and I looked away because I was talking to one of the tenors. Then I looked again. I started hearing quad play the intro to my song because it's in C sharp. It's my favorite key. So anything in C sharp, you automatically get my attention. Automatically. Whatever you're singing, playing, doing, when I hear C sharp, you have my attention. So I heard it. So as once I heard, and because I wrote the song, I can tell in the build up that it's all the glory. So now I'm like, okay, so now I get to find out who's leading it. While I'm saying it to myself, it's registering who's at the mic, and then it's like, oh, the glory. And I literally, I had to sit down. I couldn't. I had to. That's when I was sitting there like I couldn't take it. I could not believe it.
That was a powerful moment, and I felt all of those emotions when I saw that. That was a powerful
Yeah.
moment to know that another voice that's I guess would be like a idol, like a fan of, she's going to sing your song.
Yes.
Wow, wow.
So that was mind-boggling to me.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So we've covered a lot of bases. What would you say we we share something in common? So I got my
Hmm.
little buttons here that I gotta push. Okay. So we share something in common. We share the and I know that she was she was definitely important to you and she was one of your greatest influences. So
Hmm.
if you look at the screen, I pulled this for the interview. So talk to me about mom's influence to
Oh
Marcel.
man.
I know you can write a book on that by itself.
Oh man. Before I could spell Maddie Moss, my mom was Maddie Moss. She's just everything she touched was golden. If it was cooking, if it was driving, if it was selling, if it was singing, managing, it was like this lady can do it all. Um, and so that's why when I call her my superwoman, it's because she was that lady. But the my mom had if I ever get to really release the book I've been writing for years, there's an amazing story behind my mom's life that made her who she is, that caused me to define myself by her character, by her perseverance, um, the ability to, no matter what's going on in life, to be able to encourage others, sing for others, pray for others, make sure others are all right. Even I, no matter how you feel, there are times when she was just one of a kind, and she's my greatest influence, um, stage wise. When y'all see me acting up on stage when I had hair and all of that stuff, because my mom, she was just this little energizer bunny. and I got it from her. But she was also the one, she would keep you humble. I don't care how good everybody else said I was. She found something that could have been better. And that wasn't to always keep me down. That wasn't her purpose. Her purpose was to be reminded that at any day your season can be up, and somebody can. She used to always say, "It's a homeless man under the bridge somewhere that can outsing you." And so she that was her way of making sure that to always give praise to God for your talent. So
Looking
she
at the
she she, she
looking at the comments, Sunshine Foster Hill. I'm sure you know who that is. She said mom
that
was. She said mom was shady. Is that true?
the mom was she. She was shaky. That you would have to be on an Octa Praise road trip to know how shady my mom can be. Yeah, what comes up comes out,
Oh, like you.
and
Okay, got it.
like
Got
me, exactly, like
it.
me. You don't have to worry or wonder. You don't have to guess.
So
Yeah,
I remember when my mother passed away, and I remember you called, we talked, and I remember reading and seeing that your mom passed away, and the emotion I felt because I knew how close y'all was. Fast forwarding
yeah,
to the script, I know that she is up there overjoyed and extremely proud of her boy, because I remember you telling me that you were finished.
hmm
I remember that conversation. See,
hmm
let
I
me
called and told you.
let me just explain
Yeah.
something to you. So I have a lot of friends that Marcel is a great friend. We don't talk every day. We don't talk every week. We talk when it matters. So he called me. He was like, well, actually, he texted me, inboxed me. It was like, I need to talk to you. I was like, what you mean you need to talk to me? Just call me, whatever. So you told me, that how you were done. And I already knew where you were because I was there too. I knew where you were. So I basically, told you what I told you. And we get to this point. No, I'm not the reason that we're there. But what I'm saying is you confided enough in me and trusted me to tell me how you were feeling. And I felt that.
Yeah.
Because when my mother passed, I went through a season of darkness,
Yeah.
where I alienated everybody, my family, my kids, my choir, music. I didn't even care about music. I did not. I did not care about music at all.
You did it. You
So,
did it.
and you was like, I was going to do this record. I'm not going to do it. When did you decide that the script was going to be a reality?
When I knew that the whole everything that has transpired musically is because of her.
Yep.
Again, if you left it up to me, I would own a big rig, traveling the country, driving.
I remember that big old van you
And
had, so I believe you.
and still have it, and I still have it.
Oh, you do?
I still have it. And I've in my personal time of trying to recover
Mm-hmm.
from such storm, I felt like it would have been a letdown to her legacy had I just let it go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And that's what I told you.
Even if I finished it and said, okay, I've done it, I'm out. And I'm not saying that's what I'm doing. I'm just saying, even if that, the least that I could have done was complete that which her and I talked about.
Right.
And because she was supposed to be on it, but her health and COVID, we couldn't couldn't get that to work. But
I understand.
yeah. So and honestly, I have not had the time to properly grieve, but I've also not had the emotions to grieve. So I'm thinking that the this is part of the closure that's going to be needed. Taking this
Wow.
assignment is part of the closure.
Understood. So let me ask you something. So the script, how many songs is on it?
It's 12 songs, 18 tracks, but 12 songs.
18 tracks and 12 songs. Wow.
Mhm.
Now, you sent me songs. I haven't listened to nothing yet. You're going to get honest reactions. I already know what it is. But let's do this real quick. Some people that are watching never heard of Marcel and Octave Praise. We're going to take a minute and we're going to look at them in action. The clip that I chose was a monumental moment for my brother because he got to open up for his founder. So this is just a clip of my brother and his choir. Enjoy. It's the Marcel spin at the end for me. So tell me something. How'd you feel when you found out that was going to happen? That was in Indiana, right?
Indianapolis, yes, sir.
Okay,
Indianapolis.
I was hoping I didn't make that up.
No.
So how did you find that out?
When I got the call, I froze, man.
Of course
I was
you did.
like, I said, I froze. I was like, there's no way this is happening. Again, I had that moment like, this is going to be sabotage. Something's going to happen. There's no way that my favorite is good. This is no. And as it got closer, I was like, okay, I'm expecting something to cancel or something's gonna happen. And it didn't. It was just like, okay. And it reminded me because I had just told the choir after me going through a season of fasting, I said that I've asked God to fast track our season um, to catch up with our assignment. And it was after that, when I tell you things just started happening out the woodworks, but that was totally unexpected. And it literally happened off of the whim of an inquiry and the strength of somebody's name who vouched for the integrity and musicality in me. That entire booking happened off the strength of somebody's name who was willing to put their name on the line for what I would bring as an opener. And that said a lot to me. It really did.
They say, I mean, there's a saying that says favor ain't fair. Favor ain't fair. I'm saying favor is what it is. That
It
was
is what it is.
that was predestined to happen.
Yeah. Had to be.
And I'm gonna tell you this, and we're on this platform. There's people watching. You needed that moment more than anything else, because I firmly believe that was a defining moment that reignited your fire and your zeal to press forward to do what you do. I had a moment like that. I understand, so I already know. I know what it meant to be able to stand on the stage and set the atmosphere and the evening for the two people that you revere the most, Dr. Ricky Dillard and Professor James Hall. So
Yeah.
I completely understand that.
Yeah.
You said, I remember a post that you wrote, and I text you. You said, this isn't supposed to happen. My comment was, why not? Why?
And
Let me just say this.
it's just
Let me just say this. And this is no shade. And we're about to wrap up. I'm going to play a couple songs. We overtime, but this is my brother, so I don't even care. This is the first one. I'll work out the kinks for the next one. I hope you all enjoying this. I'm going to just say this. No shade. I love everybody. I really do. This world is big enough for everybody to have a piece.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Gospel music is big enough for everybody to have their time.
Absolutely.
God gave everybody a vision.
Yep.
Everybody has a vision. Everybody has a purpose. You know, so why not you? Why not you have that stage? Why not you have that opportunity? Why not? That's what
Indeed.
I'm saying. So
Indeed.
I'm happy for you, bro. I really am. I'm happy for you.
Thank
Now, our story goes back a long way. So I had started this thing called Sing Y'all, right? So Marcel has been to a plethora of them. Marcel is the only artist that I can call and be like, bro, I'm doing Sing Y'all. And his response is always, I just need to know what time to be there. He always says that. Just tell me what time to be there. It ain't no, let me talk to my management. Let me see what the band is doing. Let me see if I can get my singers. What is the budget? Every time I say to him about singing, I say, I'm about to do the Sing Y'all in such and such. I just need to know what time to be there. That was Marcel. So we had a moment where we were at Zion Pentecostal, Tyre's church. The choir was getting ready to sing, and I thought Marcel was going to kill me because I ran up there and did this in the middle of while he was talking. Look at this picture.
You sure did.
Now you can see Marcel is setting up a song. I called them my favorites. I said, y'all look, take a picture. Now I was going to run up there and do a selfie. I said, no, he would really kill me, but I can do that. So while Marcel is introducing the song, they stopped and posed for a picture. Those are my peoples. That super, those two altos right there, super altos. Those are my favorites. I love both of them.
Yeah. I remember.
So let's go to this project. The single. Talk to me about it.
He is the King is a personal tribute to Timothy Wright.
Wow. Okay.
As a matter of fact, the track before it on the album is an actual phone call that I'm having with Pastor David Wright. And then He is the King comes on, and it's actually titled He is the King, a Timothy Wright tribute. It's a tribute to his sound, to his influence, to that Brooklyn Drive. And the first voice, I'll go ahead on and say it since only
don't tell him. Don't tell about it. Don't tell about it.
Don't tell about it.
Don't tell about it. Because right now,
I would just say I'm hoping that it gets interpreted as a great tribute to the Godfather of gospel.
Now I'm just saying this. I did not hear it, but because you said what you said, I already know. So, ladies and gentlemen, now listen. Let me preface this. The single drops in 2 hours. I did this tonight because I wanted my brother to be the first guest because I knew his project was coming out tonight. So, you have one job to do after this. Well, actually, you have 2 jobs to do. Like the YouTube page. That's the first job. And 2, purchase the script after this broadcast at 12 o'clock. So, without further ado, he is the King, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. Turn your phone up.
Brothers and sisters, this pandemic has left our world in a tizzy, the cosmos in a frenzy. We are disconsolate, despondent. We have heads hung down low. But Marcel, Wyche, and Octa Praise gives us Psalms 24. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be lifted up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in.
If my mother was here, she'd say something like this. Oh, Lord. The Lord, mighty in battle. Lift up your head to the master. Not yet. Let's have coming. Let's have coming. Come on, let him in, y'all. Let's have coming. Come on, drop the music. This king.
At Midnight, He is the King is one of the songs that will be released on the script. At Midnight. Now, what's the song that we played in the video? I know that's on the record. What's the name of that song?
Prayed for.
Let's see. I know I have that. I need to hear that. I don't think that's in my thing. Pray for. Is that the title you have on it? I got the. What's this?
That's probably on the under the prescript with Prayed For and Solid Rock.
Got you. Solid Rock. That's my jam. You put that on there?
Solid Rock is the very last track.
Okay, let me give you a taste of this.
Giving up is not in your DNA. You have no reason to ever feel defeated. Your assignment is too authentic to be sabotaged by your impatience. You were built for this. You were built for this. You were built for this. And show will come every storm that renders a detour to all.
First of all, the choir sounds amazing.
Thank you, man.
Amazing. The choir sounds amazing. So who worked with you on this record? I know, but tell the people.
Woo! My dream team. I couldn't trade them in if God told me to. Mm-hmm. I have my personal Mozart, the Austin Woodland. There's nobody like him. And God gave me my personal Inspector Gadget, the Ramon Shelton. And these two guys bring so much life to the music that I've written as producers of this record, as my extra ears, as the godparents for when I decided I was done. Their blood, sweat, and tears are just as much involved in this as mine. The whole choir, actually. The track you just heard, and like we was talking about, favor ain't fair. It's just, but my mom always said, you do people right. If they have any God in them, they'll remember. Or if you just be good to people, period. Favor will fall on you. The pianist on that track is the one and only Trent Phillips. So, I'm excited. Ramon is a mastermind, man. It's just amazing. And I hope for him and Austin both that, and I told them this, whatever God has for you all, run with it. Run with it. I'm not one of those people where you obligated to me and you started out. Listen, what God got for you, run with it. And they are amazing. They're amazing, and they help put the pieces of this puzzle together. I have this slogan with musicians where I said bake the cake, and they bake this cake, and it ain't dry. Absolutely.
Well, brother, listen, we covered a lot tonight, and I'm grateful. I thank you for allowing me to do this, and I thank you for being a part of the first choir chat.
Yes, sir.
We got into a lot tonight. So before we go, any parting words in reference to the script that comes out? Let me get close up on this mic. At midnight on all digital outlets. You got it, bro.
The only thing I'll say is I want people to approach this album with an open mind. Everybody know I'm weird and abnormal, and I've learned not to be afraid of it, but to embrace it and to signature it. That's who I am. That's what I am. It's not going to change. I've tried to. I can't get an Emmy Award because I can't stay acting long. But if in a perfect world, I would love people to just sit back with their eyes closed and play the whole album. But I do want people to understand that I'm giving illustration. It's telling a story. All of the pieces of the puzzle fit a certain way. You just if pay attention to it. And it's all scripture based. Everything on the album is scripture based.
All scripture based. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, at midnight, I need you to support this good brother and his amazing choir with the release of the script tonight. Please, ma'am, and please, sir, tag people, share it when you buy it, take a screenshot of it, put it on social media, let people know that there's more choir music out there. These things I'm telling you to do, they're very simple things. Very simple things. Because your support, you that's watching, your support keeps choir music flowing. Your support keeps vision moving. Your support keeps these choirs moving forward. So, what I need you to do is at midnight, before you go to sleep, set your alarm, download the script. It's going to bless you. Great choir music. I only gave you a taste of what you can expect from Marcel and Octave Praise. You got some heavy hitters on here watching. I'm going to give a quick shout out. I see one of the craziest songwriters and musicians there is. The Wiz himself, Anton Jackson, is watching tonight. Wanted to give him a shout out. Much love to you. And also another artist and musician is watching, Justin Powell from Delaware is watching as well.
Sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
In closing, I thank y'all for taking the time to hang out with me today. Now, I need y'all to do something for me. I'm going to put this little commercial up here, and I'm going to talk through it. What I need you to do is go and subscribe to the YouTube page. It's scrolling on the bottom, www.zachwilliamsradioshow.live. This is what I need you to do, all right? Subscribe to that YouTube page, ZachWilliamsRadioshow.live, all right? I'm not sure how often I will be doing this. Like I said, this platform is for choirs. And I mean, what more importantly, the directors, so you can get to know them. That's what this is for. And if they have new music out, we'll play it and all of that. All right. That's about it. Thank y'all for tuning in. At midnight, it's on the screen. Download the script. Marcel, I love you, brother.
I love you.
Octa Praise, I love y'all too. I remember that night we crammed in the studio. I forgot what we did in here, but y'all was sure in here that night. And I feel like it's time for Sing Y'all to return in Philly. So what I want to do is once we can kind of figure out where we are with this, I want to do it.
Right.
But y'all know when I do Sing Y'all, I always have a like a plan or a theme.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk to my brother about this. I think this is gonna be good. All right, y'all. Thank
Let's
y'all
do
for
it.
tuning in. Thank y'all for tuning in. Love you, bro.
Thanks for the opportunity, bro.
Oh, come
Love
on.
you so much.
Thanks is not needed. This is what we do. My platform, it's not my platform. It's our platform because the world is ours. That's what it is. It's not just mine. I don't have a monopoly on people. I don't have a monopoly on the industry. We share, and that's how we do it. We just share because
Absolutely.
that's what we're supposed to do. All right? So y'all
Absolutely.
watch the closing. And Marcel, love you, bro.
Love you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who's on. Please definitely subscribe. Absolutely.